think I always knew I'd be a nurse. You have to have a lot of patience and empathy, not necessarily sympathy, but being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. I grew up in Texas and met my boyfriend online, and he lives here in Raleigh. I applied to Duke Raleigh. They offered me the position in the emergency department, night shift. I think I fit better at night.
Ronnie proved to be an outstanding nurse from the moment she walked in the door, and that's why we took her on board.
I think it was my fourth night going into work. I got up, got dressed, and I got in my car and drove off. There was a light change ahead of me, so I started braking and I heard a screeching. I saw the lights coming at me from behind. That car was going to hit me, I could see it. I was supposed to be going to work. Instead, I arrived as a patient.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hey.
What happened? She came through what we call the PIT, physician in triage.
My neck, it just feels crunchy when I can hear crunchy sounds.
With her complaints of some neck pain, we felt it was wise that we should do a CAT scan of both her head and her neck.
It's a little intimidating because it's a very large donut thing, and I'd had some before, but never of my head. So you wheel through it and the machine woof, 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 making all these noises, but the staff there was supportive and calm you down, you know. It helps a lot. Post-scan, Raj came and said that everything looked good on the neck scan and I would be able to be discharged, and they would call with detailed results from the rest of the scans.
The radiologist, Dr. Camp, called us to tell us of his findings, which were of concern to him.
Hello? Yes, it is. There was an abnormality on my head CT. A 3-centimeter mass was detected on my CT scan, and I was floored. I had no idea that that was even on there. And it's scary because I started thinking back about headaches. I would carry a bottle of ibuprofen with me wherever I went, and you could hear the bottles rattling in my coat pocket. I had fallen a lot. Everybody used to call me Calamity Jane. I'm thinking I've got cancer and I just changed jobs. If I have to have surgery, what am I going to do? I don't have any time off. Insurance will lapse. I didn't want to tell anybody at work, oh God, we've hired somebody with a brain mass.
I realized that this is what's called a dermoid cyst. It's not just a cyst, it grows and behaves like a tumor. The problem is that this cyst was sitting inside the ventricle where you make your cerebrospinal fluid. It can make a person very sick, and it can even be fatal if not caught or treated early. Once this tumor was discovered, she was seen by a neurosurgeon at an outlying facility.
They were very confident that it was not cancer. In their opinion, I should probably wait 6 months before having something done.
She came to me for a second opinion to see what she should do. I told her surgery is a reasonable and a preferred option to watch for waiting.
They were having some hazmat training at the time. Marge Huffman, she was in charge of that. She kept asking me, you need to do it. We really want you to be a part of the hazmat team. Finally, one morning, I just broke down and told her.
I didn't expect to hear that she had a brain tumor. I hugged her.
She encouraged me to go to management and let them know what was going on. I need to talk to you about probably getting some time off of work. After the car accident that I had, they found a brain tumor. I don't have any time saved up because I just started and I don't know anybody.
She was worried about her job. I quickly reassured her she wasn't going to lose her job and that she was a part of our team.
She was very nervous to tell me. She didn't have much PTO on board. The weight of the world was on her shoulders. We want to take care of you and make sure you come back and get healthy. And I said we were going to take care of her.
Everybody I spoke to actually said, you know, don't worry, you're part of the team now. After I let Scott and Melissa know about my situation, I went over to Human Resources to talk to them about what do I do.
I had to be the person to tell her that she wasn't eligible for family medical leave and that you're not guaranteed your position when you return back to Duke Raleigh. My heart was going out to her. I suggested the KILL program, where employees can donate PTO hours to employees that have experienced an emergent or catastrophic type event in their lives.
Denise went through the whole process with me. I was like, I have no PTO. She said, well, you will. You will.
We talked about getting donations for PTO. I asked her if I could announce it in a huddle.
One of our new team members, Ronnie, found out that she has a brain tumor, and as you know, she's new, so she doesn't have any PTO. So I'm going to have some forms available if I would like to donate.
Of course.
Great.
Absolutely.
What surprised me is the amount of folks that came forward with the donated hours. And these are the hard-worked hours that they have earned. They just kept pouring in.
Once they found out I was going for the surgery, they're like, you're going to be good. We're behind you. I checked in on a Sunday. I walked up to registration. One of the ladies behind the counter walked up and said, she's one of ours. She recognized me from work, and I'm thinking, these people actually care. They all care about their patients.
We have a very forward-thinking, world-class skull-based neurosurgery program at Duke Raleigh.
We used a special system called BrainLab. It's a complex software neuro navigation system that matches their MRI scan with these special markers that we place on the patient before we make any sort of incision.
Any decision for surgery is made after a careful consideration of the potential risks of the operation versus the benefits of the operation. We pass a little tube that goes into the ventricle, and then looking through that tube with a special camera, we can operate.
So we're able to get right on top of where the tumor was and cause the least amount of damage and safely approach it.
I think we got a very good resection. I felt very good about the operation.
My time in Duke Raleigh after the surgery is a little bit of a blur. I can kind of remember visits from my ER staff.
We've been friends for a long time and I love her. She was definitely an interesting patient upstairs.
The ICU nurses there were very adamant about me not getting up, and unfortunately I'm a little pig-headed. So I would try to get up and they were right there. They're very supportive and kind, and it's genuine. When I stood up for the first time with physical therapy, I fell backwards onto the bed because my balance was non-existent. And that pretty much sealed the deal that I was going to rehab.
We've been fortunate in Durham to set up the Duke Rehab Institute. And here in Wake County, we have a very close relationship with Wake Med's rehab facilities. I usually recommend that as the first option for patients who want to stay in Wake County.
The day of my transport, Wake County EMS came up to the floor and picked me up. They took me down through the ER and saw my folks there. I was waving from my journey, you know. They were all very supportive. One of the doctors, Calabrese, said, you got it, girl, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, you'll do great.
We thought I'd be out a few weeks, you know, no big deal. I was out 3 months.
They went out of their way to help her. They kept wanting to know, does she need any more hours?
We're a part of each other's lives. We're all family. Over 400 hours were donated. It's important when you're working in a critical care situation to have that cohesiveness in a team. I can rely on somebody and know that without even turning around that they're going to be there. And that's just what we do.
I couldn't have asked for more. Got back to work my first day. Everybody welcomed me back with open arms.
She didn't miss a step. Everybody celebrated her victory.
That's what I love about this hospital. There is a tremendous sense of teamwork and looking out for each other here.
I think it's just amazing to see her come back to work and take care of what she loves to do, and that's take care of patients and be a nurse. It's a great team, and we've been on a great journey, and my heart is full. My heart is full.
They took care of me more than I could have ever hoped for. And I'll never, ever be able to repay them for what they gave me. I love them all very much.